Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to People Perspective and the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From headache to heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all. And good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever time you happen to find yourself here at this podcast of People, Perspective, and the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all. Let's get into it. I am your host, Chamber 7, and this is your host,
Adrian Butterfly Flow.
all day long. And today's subject will be phone etiquette. In relationships, healthy phone etiquette involves open communication, establishing boundaries, respecting privacy, and avoiding snooping, fostering trust and a positive dynamic. Let's talk about it, Adrian. What you think? Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady and I have had extensive conversations about this subject matter in particular.
Yes.
About how the cellular phone devices that we carry with us all the time have made such a significant impact on the relationships that we have. But this evening, we will be speaking primarily on the subject matter of how that phone etiquette within a relationship, in a romantic relationship, should be handled.
Yes. Whether you agree or not, is how it should be handled.
How it should be handled.
Yes. So, as you know, these things that we have, phones, and nowadays the phone has your email, your text messages, your everything. This is your home, your handheld primary computer, way of life, passwords, debit cards, money. It has everything in one thing. So why would you hand that over to anybody?
You know what bothers me?
Yes.
There are actually she does. She ain't lying. I have literally heard dudes say, "Oh man, I don't keep a password on my phone. I let my lady go through my phone whenever she want to." And I'd be like, "Dumbass, the phone company didn't put that on your phone to keep your spouse out of it. That's there in case you lose the phone and some random person wants to go through your shit. You mean to tell me you don't have a password on it? Nah, man, I don't do all that. Because I don't ever want her to feel like I'm doing something wrong." Pause here, right? Not using any specific names, but I had a young lady tell me a story where she had a gentleman just like that in her life. It was her dude. It was her man. Love of her life. They were together. She was happy. She had absolutely no idea that there was anything wrong in the relationship. She had his password to his phone. If it had a password at all, she could go through it whenever she wanted to, right? Right up until one day she had to borrow his car and it wouldn't start. And she had to, what she thought, go to the fuse box to find out what was wrong with the car.
Right.
She popped open the fuse door and guess what she found?
His burner.
Exactly my point.
Yes.
If somebody wants to betray you using a phone, they fucking will. They'll find a way.
Because guess what? And I'm going to say, and I'm going to keep saying, guess what? This is the year 2025. We have these. We have these. We haven't always had these. But guess what's always been happening?
Trickery.
Cheating.
Yeah. All day long. All day. It's nothing new. It's not something that you can steer away from just by saying, "Oh, you know, my man lets me." No. Let me tell you something. The one thing I've learned is if somebody wants to betray you, they will find a way. I think the only real way that you can like shield yourself from it is to make sure that you have enough of a connection with that person that you can tell when their energy shifts just a little bit. Just a little bit, not a whole lot, just a little bit. Like, so, if like I've always said that if I'm in a relationship with somebody and I say, "Hey babe, what's the matter?" please don't disrespect me and say nothing. Unless we're at the beginning phase of our relationship and I'm still in the process of understanding what your wavelength is. I'm a very empathetic person. Like I'm empathic in the sense that I can feel energy around me all the time, and I'm constantly interpreting it. So as an engineer, my brain says I felt something different from this person. I noted it on the chart. I need to understand what that spike is. So I'm gonna ask you, yo, what's going on? If you tell me nothing and it's something, that's gonna piss me off because now my brain says, well, they said that's nothing. So from now on, I'm just gonna avoid that part.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something and I keep seeing it, I'm gonna be like, yo, I thought you said there was nothing going on. You know what I mean? So just be open, like it says in here, involves open communication, but it also says establishing boundaries.
Mm. Yes. Yes. And and everybody has their own boundary. I will say that.
Facts.
And with that being said, my boundary is not my phone. Mind you, I'm single.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
When I
Single.
when, because people think and believe because your your status means you can't speak on certain situations. I've been married.
Mm-hmm.
It means nothing. They can have access to everything you have. You can have access to everything they have.
Mm-hmm.
And there still may not be trust or, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So I'm not giving, like at this point, I don't know how many people watch Karamo. I watch Karamo and they have the open your phone segment and all of this. At any point in time, if I feel that, or if somebody takes me on that show, like, ooh, I need to get in your phone, we don't need to be together. Because if
If
you
at
don't,
any point I feel the need to want to go on your phone, I'm gonna start questioning if we need to be together.
yes. Anytime I start to not trust somebody, that has nothing to do with, I've been dating since, wait a minute, since the 80s. I had to backtrack. How many years have I been
How
dating? Since
many
I
years
was
I've been
16.
dating now?
Yeah, since I was 16.
Yeah.
And if you don't trust somebody, you don't trust somebody. There is a man in this world that I absolutely love that I will never be with because I do not trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's anything he can do that will make me feel okay to trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been on and off since we were 18, 19 years old. And I've just never trusted him. Couldn't get past some hurdles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's not, he's truthful. He done did some stuff, but he came back and was truthful about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't absolutely love him with all my heart. We will never be together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I fully feel that, and I've been in situations where, for a fact, like I think the last really big relationship that I was in, and I say big relationship to mean like this was my person, and like everybody knew that that's who I was with, kind of thing.
Yes.
I out and outright told him straight out. I said one of the biggest hurdles that I have with you right now is I don't trust you.
Yeah,
And I
and
think,
once that's gone, that's it.
but see, okay, but I think at that point in our relationship, my attitude was I don't trust you, but I don't know if it's because of my own insecurities or if it has anything to do with something you're doing that is affecting my empathic feelings that makes me not trust you. Like, is it more on a spiritual level that something's going, dude, you should not be trusting this person, right? And even to this day, I'm not 100% sure what it was or is. But I think the teetering point for me wasn't the fact that I didn't trust them. The teetering point for me was the fact that they weren't about to do anything about me not trusting them. They didn't care, or they didn't give the impression that they cared. I would say I don't trust you, and they'd be like,
I mean, okay, so but what can somebody do if you don't trust them? What can they do?
well, I mean, at the very least, I would ask questions like, what is it that you don't trust? What can I do to prove to you? What can I say? And even after, and there were times when I got it back, she said, I don't trust you either because of X, Y, and Z. I said, okay, I'm gonna try to fix this. But
Yeah.
then in the attempts to try to fix it, if I like I think we talked about this in the last segment where my phone, I 98% of the time my phone is on silent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I had incidents where in the duration of our 3-year relationship, somebody called at like 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, and it was a woman, but it wasn't a romantic interest. It was just somebody from my past. And I was like, I don't even like, there was one time somebody called and I didn't even know how they got the number. Like I had changed my phone number and I was like, how did you get this number? But we forget that all your social media and stuff like that, sometimes if you go into certain parts of your social media, you can find somebody's phone number. It's not that hard.
Right.
I Googled my name and my old phone number came up.
Mm.
And then somebody told me one time, this is an aside, somebody told me that they called my old phone number and the person who got my old phone number actually answered and said, I don't know who this dude is that used to have this number, but he must have been awfully popular because everybody be asking for this dude. And I'd be like, when I had the number, nobody was calling me then. Right? So
Right.
she got irritated with those 3 times that it happened. And I realized that there are probably people in the comments gonna be like, man, he bullshitting, he full of shit, yada yada. But I was very open with it and said, hey, look, nothing's going on. I'm here with you like all the time. Like we were, and I'm not gonna go into super detail here, but we were
Yeah.
around each other all the time. But I think with regard to what we mentioned earlier, it's about establishing certain boundaries. And one of my boundaries was like, I don't go through your phone. There's no need for you to go through mine. And it wasn't because I feel like, and you'll know this part, if you're looking for something, you will find it.
Right. But I'm gonna still stand by what I said earlier. If you
Okay.
don't trust somebody, you ain't gonna trust somebody. Because
So you think
even though
once it's gone, you can't ever regain trust. So like what do you say towards situations where you got a couple and
yes,
one of them has cheated
yes,
and the other one has lost trust in that person?
absolutely.
You don't think is there a path back?
There's a path back to the relationship, but there's a almost impossible path back to trust or fully trusting. They will never fully trust the way they did. They
Okay.
may stay in the relationship, they may stay with that person, they may
Mhm.
even be able to be vulnerable with them in certain ways, but they will never trust that person the way they had before.
In the very
So,
beginning.
yes. So
But
trust, go ahead.
isn't a lot of that based on I feel like in the very beginning stages of a relationship, you're willing to like forego a lot of bullshit.
Mm.
So to what level of trust do you feel like can be lost and still be regained in it? I guess I'm almost answering my own question. Would it be like if it's a little white lie, it's not that big a deal or a misunderstanding, but when it comes to
Right, right,
something that involves another person, even if they suspect it and they're wrong.
right. Even if it's not cheating, but they mess up, and as you talk about it a lot, fumbling your vulnerability and using that against you, you're not
Yeah.
going to trust them in that way ever again. So once that trust is gone, that part of you is gone from the relationship, so you can never get that back. So if you don't trust them, you will never see them the same way. And I know people be like, oh, it can come back, you can work on it. You can, but
It's in other words, you're saying it has to be a different relationship.
it's gonna be a different relationship.
It reminds me of like big huge Marvel fan, I believe both of us are. Um Remember the timelines that Doctor Strange would show you?
Mm.
And then when there's a significant event, that timeline splits off. So that's a dope way to, okay, I feel that.
Yeah.
So you have a relationship, but once there's a break in the trust, that timeline has to split off in another direction to build a
Mm.
different relationship. So this version of the relationship no longer exists. You got to go in a different path.
Right. So if that one
Ooh,
thing didn't happen, it would have stayed on that
yeah,
timeline.
yeah.
But then that one thing happened, and now it's like, and it's one of those things that, because you hear people getting divorced besides issues with cheating. So let's do that. And I know we started this with phone etiquette, and we're gonna get back to it.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
there
back
are
to
more things to it than that.
it.
So a lot of times when a person, unless they're just that person, there are people that are just that person. That's, I gotta go through your phone. I need to go through your emails. I know you need to know who you're talking to. You can't talk to women. You can't look at women. You can't do this. You can't do that. That ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm telling you now, men, I'm telling you, if you got somebody like that, it ain't got nothing to do with you. And I'm a tell you, like the movie, get out. You can't get out. Like, you don't have to stay there. That is not a good relationship for you. You are being controlled.
Mm-mm.
And this goes for women too, but I'm saying it specifically for men, because men think it's okay and it's cute and it's all, oh, she wanted, and oh, she just crazy. Oh, no, that is not where you're supposed to be. So if you're with somebody like that and they don't trust you as far as they can see you, one, they never will. Two, it may or may not be your fault, depending on when it started. Let's be clear. I got to be clear. Some people cheat and then that person does that. But even if you have to do all that, you might as well leave. If I got to be a detective every day, I got to
I ain't got time. I ain't even got time. If I
be one, if I need to, but I don't want to.
I don't want to do all that.
Soon as my brain clicks into that and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna check this. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna look." I'm done. I've already checked out of the relationship because
the second I have to go through, the second I feel a strong enough belief that I have to go through your phone.
Yep.
I realize now I don't need to be there anymore.
Yes, and there is, I forget what state it is. They're banning, like, it's a federal thing. I don't know if it's federal. It's a crime now to go through your partner's phone. You can get charged.
I didn't know it had gotten to that level. You can be charged for that.
I forget what state it was.
And I think it's because I didn't realize this. There was one time I was at work, and there's this one parking spot that's right next to a storm drain. And the way the storm drain is set up, the way the parking lanes were, when you open your driver's side door, that storm drain is right there, right? So I was aware of this. So the few times that was the only parking space to park at, I would park there and I'd be like, all right, don't have your phone out. There was one time I'm leaving from work and I'm on the phone and I'm rushing to get, man, I'd be damned if I didn't have my phone on my ear like this and like carrying some stuff. And next thing you know, it dropped and it fell right in the head. Man, the only thing that lucked up at that moment was the fact that it hadn't rained, because it wasn't a small drain. Like, it was a grate and it was 6 feet down. So if it was full of water, like, my phone gone, right?
Right.
I looked up, there was an old dude inside. And in that moment between, oh shit, my phone fell in there and how do I get it out of there? My brain was like, oh my God, my whole life is on that phone. Your bank records,
yes,
text message, emails, all of the, like, how many jobs connect everything to your phone? Everything.
Right.
Everything to your phone. You got, like, my Teams messages are on there. Like like, I've got poetry on there. I've got video. I've got pictures I'll never get back of, like, family moments and shit like that. Everything's on that phone. So I got the phone back and he helped me get the phone back. I immediately came home and backed up that phone with another phone that I had just in case.
And the thing is, just imagine all that stuff you just talked about. And imagine somebody who doesn't trust you going through all of your information. That, what can they do with that information?
Okay, so devil's advocate.
Yes.
I know there's somebody in the comments, male or female, and they're gonna say, well, what do you have to hide? Right? And I say this is how I combat that. In the last moments of my previous relationship, she decided she wanted to go through my phone. And I said, go ahead then. So she went through the text messages and she found this one lady who kept texting me every morning. She would say, good morning, son of my heart. She blew up. Who the fuck is this? And I was like, so I got mad and I said, call her, text her. As a matter of fact, I'll call her for you and you can talk to her directly. it was a close family member's like ex-girlfriend who was much older than me, and
Right.
she specifically says son of my heart because she
Yeah.
treats me like I'm her son.
But there was an indication in the message, son of my heart, not love of my heart, not
Mm-mm,
lover of
mm-mm.
things, anything. Son
But and
of
that's
my
why I
heart.
say if you're looking for something, you'll find it. And I don't think a lot of people understand what that means when you say that. They think, yeah, I found evidence. No, you created evidence from
Absolutely.
bits and pieces of what you found
Yes.
in order to feel better about what you found and make yourself right. It's this you probably know better than I do. It's got to be some type of like psychological thing where
Hmm.
you feel I almost want to say it's a little bit of the Dunning-Kruger effect, a little bit where you think you know what you don't know kind of thing, but I might be stretching by saying that.
Mm.
But you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and and I'm gonna still go back to, you don't want somebody who doesn't trust you going through your stuff, because you don't know what they're gonna do with your stuff. There's been many occasions people would call people were calling people's bosses. Because again, like you said, the names, they don't know who they're. I don't know who this is, and I ain't even gonna hold you. Somebody go through my phone, they're gonna be real upset because I got a bunch of initials in my phone.
Hmm. Hmm.
The only people I put with initials are clients because I don't want their full name listed, but I have to have their phone numbers.
I almost feel like in your situation, it's a breach of client of like
Yeah.
doctor client privilege of some sort,
Yes.
right? Like that
Yes.
you can't go through your phone for that reason. And with
No.
me, it's just a matter of why
But
is that
before
such a
that,
big deal to you?
yeah, before that, why you what you need?
Why you even need to go through that? Like it's just weird to me. I don't understand.
What do
And
you
some people
need?
be like, "Well, I don't understand. You should be open with your partner like we over here." So
We
here's
are
another
having
one.
a conversation. This is open.
Exactly. And I think that one of my big pet peeves is when I hear, not even a pet peeve, but when I hear people say, "Well, oh my goodness, you're exchanging bodily fluids, but you can't exchange passwords." And I'm like, that's fine if we're married.
Yes. Because they should, they not should, but depending on your marriage, a lot of
Right.
people have access to all of those things in the
For
marriage.
emergency reasons. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Something happens to my significant other, I would want access to their phone.
Yeah.
But
My
I
ex
like
have
I got a buddy of
access to
mine.
mine. He
Yeah,
planned me a whole surprise graduation party through my phone. I ain't even know
have at it. You know what I'm
it.
saying? But I've got a buddy of mine that him and his wife have a very open communication where he has her password and she has his password. But
Hmm.
here's the rule: the only time you use that password to go into my phone is if I am in the room when it happens
Mm,
and I've given you permission to do so.
right.
But if at any point that you violate that rule, we're
Hmm.
done.
And that's respect for each other as a person.
Hands down.
Yeah. Because
I rightfully believe that.
if you think your partner is doing something nefarious, they probably are. And if they're not, and you always think that they're doing something nefarious, that's a you problem, and you probably need to leave anyway. If
Yeah,
everybody you date,
I'd be thinking that it's projection.
that's what I'm saying. So that means
Yeah,
it's a you problem. If you
yeah,
always think somebody is cheating on you,
yeah.
and
I really
if
do.
in the beginning it's an issue, why you
Hmm.
not posting me? We ain't even get into that yet. Why you not posting me? Why I can't go through your phone? Why is this? Why is that? I've
Hmm.
known you for 2 weeks. I need to see if we gonna last. Because guess what you're not gonna do? Talk about me. Why
That's right. That's
she
right.
posting up with somebody every 2 weeks?
That's
No.
right. That's right.
The
Now,
only
with
thing you
regards,
will see of when I get mine is you
mhm,
gonna see a wedding ring.
right? I'm not gonna lie. Those are my favorite. You'd be like, oh shit, wait, she was dating somebody? Like
Yes.
me personally, I love that. And it's not when I say that, and
Mhm.
male or female, I think it's dope because that individual hasn't been putting themselves out there. You don't see them with like 15 different people and then all of a sudden they
Right.
married. You
Right.
see them moving and shaking, but they're always respectable, they're classy. And then you see them with a partner that they plan on staying in the rest of their life with, and they
Yes.
haven't, they haven't been doing anything nefarious at all. You haven't seen it like that, right?
Right.
With regard to phone etiquette along the lines of the amount of time with which it takes for you to respond. This has been a struggle for me for the longest time.
Yes.
If we are not married, please do not have the expectation for me to immediately respond to you.
Right.
If we are not in a relationship with titles, there are times when I might just be too busy, and especially if I'm at work, you have absolutely no rights to my time at work unless it's a fucking emergency.
Nope.
Period. Point blank. I'm not gonna bother you at work. Don't bother me at work.
I be trying to figure out what kind of jobs these people have to be sitting there texting and talking to each other all day. Like,
no
what
job.
do you do?
No job. I know some people talk to they partner all day long, and I'd be like, dude, they got the earbud in their ear, and they just talking to their partner while they doing their work all day long.
That is not good or healthy. I am just letting you know. I had an Amazon package delivered one time, and the Amazon driver sat in the front of my yard for a good 15 minutes arguing with their partner on the phone. And guess how I know? Because I could hear it in the house. I could hear it.
Ain't nothing classy about that.
Nobody needs that. Oh, we got to talk about this now. Wait till I get home. Right. Why do we have to talk about this now? The amount of people that I see just driving and yelling on the phone, walking around, yelling on the phone. Like, sometimes you do have to put it down because it is not healthy for you. Mm-hmm. And now, because people think they have to have access to you and they have to talk about it right now, that's not the case. Like, if I tell you I'm going to talk to you later, we either going to talk later or not. That is up to you. Go ahead.
I want to accent this. I know a lot of people have, negative things to say about, ex relationships.
Yes.
But there are hints of things that I like to highlight from my ex relationships that I legitimately wish to carry on to every relationship I have with everybody that I know.
Yeah.
One of my absolute favorites, and I thought it was one of the most emotionally mature things that we came to terms with, is like, and this is with regard to phone etiquette, in the sense that, you know how when you talk to somebody, and I think we brought it up last time, if I asked the question of, like, how you doing? And I say, well, don't just tell me nothing. If there's actually something bothering you, but you're still in the process of like trying to process it, then just say that.
Right.
With this caveat, and this is where it becomes emotionally mature. With the caveat that you say, like, you come to me and you say, hey, what's the matter? And I say, look, I'm dealing with something right now, but I'm not ready to talk about it. Can we just put a bookmark here? Right? Now, the bookmark comes with rules. And that rule is we can talk about anything else within the bounds of, not grazing the surface of what the conversation might be about what's going on with me. But I'm not going to ignore it for weeks and months. We will return to this bookmark within a reasonable amount of time that we agree upon. Same thing with phone etiquette. Like the one that we brought up here, it says, you don't have to be glued to your phone, but regularly leaving your partner on read or ignoring texts without explanation can feel dismissive.
Yes.
Don't just tell me, I ask you what's the matter, and you don't say anything at all. You don't text. I'll be like, babe, what's going on? And you don't say shit. Or, hey, what's the matter? And then you're leaving me to wonder, because me personally, my biggest fear is you're dead. And then when I find out you're not dead, now I'm pissed off. And just say something. Let me know, hey, look, I'm feeling sort of a way. And I'll admit, I have been guilty of this myself, where I've been like, fuck it, I ain't talking to your ass. You piss me off. Look, and then the other partner needs to be mature enough to say, fair enough, and let it the fuck go. Most of the time people say nothing is wrong because they don't want the follow-up questions.
Right.
Well, why don't you want to tell me? Well, what's the matter? I'm not going to bug you with follow-up questions. I'm just going to be like, fair enough. I'll leave you to yourself, but please, in a reasonable amount of time, come back to me so that I'm not in limbo for months. I had an ex left me in limbo for like a year and a half, and I was like, fuck this. I'm out. 6 months. 2 months. I should have been gone.
Right. And as we talk about phone etiquette, and I know, and you know, I've had this issue, and I know you've had this issue. So being friends, just like you said, this person went through your phone and was like, oh, upset because they found a woman talking to you.
Man,
I have men friends. And if I
does.
am in a relationship with a man and he's like, you can't talk to your men friends anymore. And when I say friends, I mean friends, not friends with benefits, not friends with anything else.
Right.
And I do talk to some of my exes.
Right.
Because you know, even though we talked about how trust and all that stuff can kill some stuff, I still find value in people. And like you said, that thing rips off.
Yes.
And a lot of times it rips off into friendship. It just means we're not on this path anymore. And I literally broke up with somebody because they were upset because I still communicate with my ex-husband.
So, you know what bugs me about that is that, and I see it on shows all the time, and I see so many people agree to it. Like, yeah, you can't mess with no woman that got a bunch of male friends. Well, how is that woman supposed to have a reasonable understanding of the male perspective of people in general if she doesn't have a healthy acquaintance with men other than yourself? Because that tells me if they're not a family member, you don't trust your partner enough to not fall into the trap of being with somebody else. You haven't armed them to be able to have a healthy interaction with another individual. And then you wonder why she's sleeping with her boss, because she doesn't have any other interaction with somebody reasonable enough to say, I know where the boundaries are.
Right. Well, I would say people should know that.
They should. They don't. They
I know.
act like they're dumb about it. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I don't want my woman talking to no dude. You'd be like, that's stupid.
And I will say at my big age, if a man is telling me you can't talk to no man, I'm like, all right. Because at this point in life, if I've known these men that I'm cool with and ain't nothing happened this far.
Thank you. Thank you.
It ain't going to happen just because I got in a relationship with you today. So I get in a relationship with you today, and one of my male friends gonna come up, ooh, I love you, I want us to be together. And I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, I've been waiting on this for years. No, if I wanted you, I'd have shot my shot back
long
then.
time ago. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And if I did shoot my shot, get shot down, or you shot your shot and you got shot down, and we friends, that's what it is.
It is what it is. We have now crossed over into this other timeline.
Yeah. Absolutely. It breaks right on off and goes on off into something else. And people don't understand, like they cannot believe. And you know, sadly, I had 3 good male friends named Sean. One passed away. But for some reason, every Sean that I meet has always been like a great friend. I don't know
and
what it is.
I don't think we ever explained our interaction. I'll never forget it. We became friends.
This is gonna be a whole nother topic because I got something to say.
I'm gonna just graze right over. Like we just became friends from interactions through poetry. Yes. And that was it. And then like we locked in ever since then, and we just been super close.
Yes.
And to the point where it makes other people uncomfortable for some oddball reason, because we'd be like, is anything going on between y'all? No. Why not?
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
We are two beautifully mature people.
I mean,
and they want to know why not.
Yeah. And they always want to lean into it and be like, oh no, something's got to be going on because you're a male and you're a female. And you know what I say to that? This is my honest opinion about it. That's why your relationship is so fucked up now, is because you don't know how to have a healthy interaction with someone of the opposite sex without sex being a part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Bars.
All of them.
Ooh. That poetry flowed naturally right there, baby. Bars. Oh, Jesus. Ooh, write that shit down.
Yes.
See me on a poetry stage and I bust that one out. You can reference this right here. So I'm telling you.
Yes. So, and that's how people think. So that's why when it comes to phone etiquette, and if I'm on the phone and I leave the room or I do something, sometimes I have to talk to clients. Sometimes I'm talking to one of my sisters or my mama or somebody in the family, and I don't want to let you know how much I cuss like right away. Like it'd be.
Yeah, I need a reasonable amount of time before you find out how my number of fucks in a sentence. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, before you know how me and Chamber be on the phone talking junk. to
Right.
each other, about each other, around each other, about what
All
happened,
day.
about you, about the person sitting beside me,
Facts.
because I'm gonna tell him all about you.
Yep. You got a big head, feet smell funny. I get it all. I'm telling you. And some of y'all, ooh, Lord Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And you know what my other fear too is? I believe your partner should be allowed the opportunity to have an interaction with friends of theirs
Yes.
about you
Mm-hmm.
without you knowing. And here's
Yeah.
why I say
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I know for a fact there were times in relationships that I've been in, I complained about my partner to a friend of mine. And
Mm-hmm.
then my feeling about that situation changed. But
Mm.
now my partner goes through these messages and says, "Oh, that's how you feel?" I'll be like, "No, at the moment, that's how I felt, but I
Right.
don't feel that way anymore. And that wasn't any of your fucking business." It feels like somebody going through your diary. It's like nothing
Yes.
is sacred anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my
Because
goodness.
on the flip side of that, I believe rightfully so, women have a cocoon that they go into where they have their girls' night out and they do their talking and yo, say whatever you want about me and get all that shit out. All I know is at the end of the day, if you my woman, bring your ass home unscathed without somebody else touching you. What's the fucking problem? I can be
Right.
all the assholes you want when you with your girlfriend, but when your girlfriend go, well, girl, where we dropping you off? And you go, at my baby house. You be like, girl, I thought you said he was an asshole. He is, but he my asshole. You right. Fucker, bring your ass back in this house. Cause I'm pretty sure I said some choice words about you too, about them times you was pissing me off. But that
Yes.
I think that's if you never have the opportunity to go to those edges and say those things and get those things out, do you
Right.
really care about this person? If this person ain't never pissed you off,
Right. If
come
you
on,
ain't never
man.
want to slap them upside their head,
Facts. Facts.
yeah.
No, that's true. And I think we don't we don't understand the difference between, and I know we've talked about this, secrecy
Yes.
and privacy.
Yes.
There's a difference.
It
There's
is.
a difference between somebody who's being secretive and
Right.
somebody who's just private.
Yes.
Oh, well, how come you don't post me?
Right. And I will say I am, well, you know this, I am a very private person.
Same. You
People
know
know
that.
so much about me and so little at the same time.
The only time I'll post up my vacation is when I've come home from the vacation. Fuck y'all. You don't need to
Absolutely.
know where I am. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm already back. I
I'm
post stuff
back.
sometimes. People like, you gone again? I'm like, girl, I'm sitting in my bed. Ain't
Right. You, baby, you looking at last week.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes last year. It depends on how I'm feeling. Like,
Yep.
but there is a big difference. And when you're in a relationship, you should know the difference. You should know if you're a secret
Hmm.
or if that person's being private. If y'all are still going out around town, if you are still doing things and they not running to hide when they see people, they're just a private person. But if you can only come over at night, y'all
Oh
never
my
go out
God.
to everything is inside the house, you
You
was
know,
use a secret run.
use a secret. Period.
They got the word sneaky link for a reason. You ain't supposed to be known about.
Mm-mm.
But privacy,
Mm-mm.
like
Right.
privacy is just, I'm not out here advertising it. If you
Mm-hmm.
see me and somebody, that mind your business. That's me and
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna never see me and them on social media.
Right. Right.
Unless by mistake, if we had an event side by side, he just happened to catch
It
us.
happened to, yeah, you happen to catch a picture of us. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you can have an open, honest conversation with your partner about certain things, like
Mhm.
here's another one that bothers me. Um, if you on if I have a partner and they're sitting next to me or laying next to me and they're on their phone, I will I'll accidentally glance or something like that, but I will look away
Right.
because I don't want to accidentally see anything that's gonna spark my curiosity. Like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I had a situation one time. This is true fucking story. This is made me so mad. I'm with this young lady, and I think I went to reach for my phone, and Instagram popped up. And you know how Instagram works. It shows you whatever's new.
Yeah.
And one of my female friends was in a bathing suit on a beach, and the person I was with, this was a very new situation that I was with. She saw the picture. All she did was took a glance and freaked the fuck out. And I was like, and you know how you can feel the energy in the room change? You know how when you're watching a movie and you see the main person, they breathe and it all of a sudden there's cold air coming out of their mouth? That's the way it felt. And I was like, what the hell just happened? Oh, is that the type of woman you like? And I was like, what are you even like? I was so clueless. I didn't even know what she was talking about.
Right.
Because I was like, do you not know how Instagram works? And she was like, well, I saw that picture and that girl looks nothing like me. And I'm going, well, one, I can have more than one type of woman that I like physically because in reality, I prefer somebody who's emotionally intelligent. And right now, that's not what I'm feeling right now. I'm confused. You need to explain to me why you're so upset by what you saw. If what you saw, and that's why I say again, if you're looking for something hard enough, you'll find it because you'll create it on your own.
And some people will go so far as to finding out what their partner is liking on social media, whose profile they're liking, what pictures they're liking, what comments they're making. Oh, if you were in a relationship, you wouldn't love that. I dated this dude one time. And so listen, y'all, when we tell y'all these, somebody we dated, somebody was new, sometimes it's the same person. You just ain't gonna never know, because I'm always say I dated this dude. Unless it's my ex-husband, and I'll say my ex-husband. But it could be the same dude. It could be a different dude. I ain't gonna tell you.
Yeah, we are in this case respecting the privacy of the individuals that we once had a history with.
Exactly. So I was dated this dude. We're friends on Facebook, and he was like, "I noticed you love a lot of stuff on Facebook." I said, "And I do." Why you gotta love everything? Why you can't just like some stuff? Because I love it. Like, what do you mean? I love what they just said. I love what she had on. I love what he had to say over here. I love this couple right here. I love Chambers live. Don't play with me. Like
when I used to do my little segments in the car on my way to work.
Yes. I love what I see. If it's something positive and I love it, they made the love button just for me, because I use it every chance. Like, I don't even like stuff no more. If I'm gonna like it, I'm gonna nothing it. Because if I don't love it, I'm not doing nothing.
That's facts.
Why are you worried about me loving stuff on Facebook? And then there was this dude I was gonna date. And he was like, "Oh, I went through your Facebook and I see you in pictures with dudes and this, that, and the other. Let me tell you something. These are out and about pictures. Everybody in Raleigh know each other. So I just take pictures with people.
Right.
I'm going to tell you 10 times out of 10, not even 9 times, 10 times out of 10, you see me in a hugged up posed picture on Facebook. That ain't my dude. I ain't gonna never post nobody I'm messing with.
I guarantee y'all that's not her dude. I can guarantee you that that's not her dude.
And any of the women
in some cases, she might not even know who that motherfucker is. I'll be like, yo, who is that picture of? I don't know.
Because we all know each other, and I could just be out somewhere. People like, "Butterfly, let's get a pic," and I'll be like, "Hey," 10 times out of 10, if it's your dude, all the women out there, if you see me in a picture with your dude, he's still yours. I do not. You will not catch me in a picture with a dude that I'm messing with, unless until it's an announcement.
Right.
So best believe, any picture you see with me, somebody got their arm around me, we cheesing, that's just out and about. That's it.
That's it. Do you know, if I'm not mistaken, I've read in it, and I promise you can look this up yourself. Statistics have shown, because I know a lot of people will lean towards the statistics. Statistics have shown that relationships that last longer are usually the ones that don't post as much on social media.
Yes.
And I think it's because I feel like relationships that have this overarching, and I'm not talking about the ones where like social media is their means of income. Like I've seen cute couples where there's this one couple off the top, I don't remember their names, but it's the dark skinned dude and the light skinned chick. And they just have such a cute relationship. And sometimes they go at each other's necks. And I think it's the best thing in the world. It's just funny because they show all aspects of the relationship. But that, I feel, is like their social media, like it is their shared event together.
Yes.
But some of these people who constantly feel the need to post all the time, I feel like the only reason they're doing that is because they need the validation of their partner in their life. And that's the only reason why they need to post that.
Or the validation of other people to say, "Ooh, y'all couple goals. Ooh, y'all
Yeah,
this. Ooh, yeah." I got
and
a
that's it.
friend. He will screenshot me stuff that married women send to him. They will be in the photo with their husband in their profile picture, asking him what this do, what that do,
Yeah.
when can I see you, when can we get
Oh
together?
yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, ma'am, I need you to slow down.
And then he'll explain to me. He was like, and then got a post up with her and her husband talking about how in love they are.
Let me tell you something. I've even gotten to the point now where I make it I make it very, very well known. As a matter of fact, me and my brother talked about this not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we will go out of our way to avoid interactions with women who have a boyfriend or a significant other that we do not know.
Yes,
Like, I want him to know for a fact I'm not making a pass at your woman. I'm
yes,
either supporting her business or me and her are just friends. You ain't gonna see no bullshit in her DMs from me at all, unless I
yes.
direct message somebody and just let them know, hey, as a matter of fact, not too long ago, I sent a very, um, very plain message to this young lady. Me and her have been friends for a while, but then she sent me some weird message from Instagram, so I reached back out to her. I said, "Yo, is this you?" And she said, "Nah, somebody hacked my account, blah blah blah." And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she got a dude or not, but one thing
Right.
you ain't never gonna say about Chamber 7 is, yo, you came at my woman sideways in the comments and blah blah, bro. If I know you got I'm not doing that. Like, in no way,
Nope.
shape,
I
form, or
don't have
fashion.
time.
Just move out
I,
the
I
way.
don't. I don't want nobody else's headache.
Mm-mm.
Because if he yours and he trying to talk to me, that is a headache. That is your
That's a
headache,
headache.
and you can
That's a
have it.
fact.
And
That's a fact.
you can tell. Well, at least I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell when a man is in a healthy relationship by the way. I know you're like, what? By
How?
the way that they interact with people out in public. Because you'll
Okay.
have men that won't speak, that won't talk, that won't turn their head. They will put their head down. I walk around my neighborhood. I can point at the houses and tell you which men are scared to death to say anything to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you the ones that are in good relationships. I got
Yeah.
this one. He'll come outside and say, "Hey, how you doing?" I wait, and I was like, at first I just be like, "Okay, hey, hey,"
Mm-hmm.
and then like saw his wife, kid, they wave, and I was like, "Okay," because they have the freedom to do so. And
That's right.
normally, if a man is able to talk to you in front of his wife, not in front of his wife, anything like that, and I don't mean coming at you, just
Mm-mm.
talking. There's
Just
a
having a
couple.
conversation.
Yeah, there's a couple around here in Raleigh that I really love. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him first, and I met him at a networking event. And we
Mm-hmm.
networked, we talked. It had got dark. He walked me to my car, never hit on me, never, but he was younger too. So
Yeah.
we just talked and we hit it off. And then I happened to meet his woman separately. I don't even think they were married yet. And
Mm-hmm.
when I met her, she was like, "Oh, my boyfriend told me he met you and that you do such." I was like, "Okay, girl, that's what's up." And I was like, "They gonna have a," and now like they married, they now got a baby. I just
Right.
saw him last week at another event. We hugged,
Mm-hmm.
spoke, everything,
Mm-hmm.
saved him from some crazy woman that was trying to take him home, apparently. He was like, "Thank you so much. I'm just so glad you showed up. I couldn't get away from."
Yeah. 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 And let me say on that topic too, and we
Yes.
might need to make this one a separate one,
Mm.
is I'm sure there are people, I can almost feel it. Well, how come he couldn't just walk away from that woman? Men still have to be careful how they, and women too, as a matter of fact, for that matter. Now I think about it, for physical violence, men have to be
Yes.
careful how they reject certain people,
Yes.
because the imagery can be made as if he did something to her. And on the flip side,
Mm-hmm.
women can get killed out here for not giving out a phone number. I've literally
Yes.
watched situations where women have approached strangers and
Oh yeah.
gave them the
I used to do
signal,
that.
and the dude was acting like it was her boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't. I remember and I know we're straying a little bit from this part,
Yeah,
but
and we got to
it's
go in a few. But go ahead.
yeah, but I think it's vital in I was on an airplane one time. I was on a flight, and there was a lady sitting next to me, and the turbulence was crazy. It was probably the worst turbulence I've ever felt, and I've been on planes since I was like 4, like
Right.
legit, right, by myself too sometimes, and it was bad. And she grabbed my arm and she apologized, and I said, and I saw she had a wedding ring on. I said, "Ma'am, you're okay," because in my thought is, if this is our last moments together, you concerned about what your husband thinks? Like, you
Right.
serious? Like, what we supposed to do? We ain't engaged in anything wrong. So I
Right.
let her hold my arm and I held her hand, and I played the strong man, because here
Because
was
that's
my
who
thought.
you are.
But see, my thing is, if
Mm-hmm.
my wife was on that plane
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't able to be there, I want another strong, mature, responsible male to step up to the plate and make sure my woman is okay.
Yes.
The
Yes.
same way I would do for his, and vice versa. I would want my son to do that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
I would want somebody to do that for my daughter or my wife or my mother. Like,
right.
take care of them if I'm not able to do it.
And in the
Just don't abuse
situation,
it.
and in the situation that I explained, like you said, somebody be like, "Why couldn't he walk away?" He was working. This was an event. He was where
Yeah,
he
I had
was
no
supposed
choice.
to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. Right,
Me and
right.
my girlfriend just happened to walk up to come speak to him. I was like, "Oh, that's so and so. I got to go speak."
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you never know. This woman was drunk.
Oh,
She
Jesus.
was of a different persuasion.
Mm.
And you have to, you know what I'm saying? You got to
Mm-hmm.
handle things.
A certain way to be
Yes.
careful. Yep.
And you're in front of your business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't he could just walk away. It wasn't he could just be like, hey, he
Mm-mm.
was literally standing in front of his business.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And I
Working
think
an event.
what we've both been trying to say, even with regard to the main subject of phone etiquette, is at the end of the day, it's about respect and trust.
Yes.
Do you trust your partner or not? Do you respect your partner or not? And I think that those both go hand in hand. They're interlinked in some way, shape, form, fashion. I feel like there's a part 2 to this where we
Mm.
kind of, we the
Come back.
break off. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So at some point you have to be. I think that at the end of the day, I feel like there needs to be a check-in report between the couple, the
Mm-hmm.
people in the couple, where do we still respect each other? Do we still love each other? Do we still trust each other? If you can answer those 3 questions with a yes, fine.
Yeah.
If you can't, you definitely need to like have a serious conversation about it, especially with regard to this very unique device and how that encompasses your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
Because
what I would
guess
say.
what? People still write letters. People still write notes. Don't think that everything. If people want to cheat, they're gonna cheat. I'm just saying that it's not here. They've been doing
No,
it since forever. People had
right.
whole families in across town. How you think they
That's
did that? It wasn't with a
that's
cell
facts.
phone.
That's facts.
It
And
wasn't
I'm
with
not
social
I'm not
media.
gonna stand and say I'm without blame. I did some stupid shit in my days. I'm not, so I hope some partner of mine in the past, that nigga did this, that, and the other. You right. There have been times I've made some mistakes. I
Yeah,
agree. But at my big age now, I'm learning there's some things that you should not absolutely do. I didn't, I've
right.
learned some things. So
Yeah. And so I guess as we close it out, phone etiquette, I will say is whatever you and your partner decide, but it should be a discussion with you and your partner. And if one side is holding out too hard in an area that you're not comfortable, you may need to rethink
the whole
how you.
relationship.
Yes. See, I was trying to say it in a nicer way, but yeah.
Nah, you go in.
Yeah. So and that's just like I said earlier, if they need every aspect of your life, they need to know what you're doing, where you at,
Yeah,
location, location, location. Where you said you was at this place, but you was
yeah,
2 blocks away at a stoplight. Like who knows what you was doing? Like
right.
sometimes if you have to give up too much information or too much about your life for somebody else, or if you are the person who is giving up your life to check up on somebody else 24 hours a day, get a
Hmm.
job. They need private detectives. They need private eyes. Go on, get paid for it.
That's
Leave that,
facts.
leave that person
Especially
alone.
if you think your gut feeling and your intuition is that strong, you should be a detective.
Right. Leave that person alone. Because you won't trust
Facts.
them and you don't want to be with them.
No, you just
Except
want
for
to
to
be able
make
to
their life
control them.
miserable.
Facts.
So, all righty. Well, thank y'all for watching another episode of People, Perspective, and the Pulse. And I do want to say, if y'all watched the first video, Mr. Chamber 7 didn't point out to me to the end of it that I spelled perspective wrong because I was typing fast. And that was our first episode. And I was like, ooh, I want to take it down. And he said, no, it adds character.
That's right. It adds a little bit of character. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, this second episode shows growth. That's how I see it.
Okay. So yeah, I did change it. I fixed the little things, and we got it better. And we said we were gonna do 30 minutes. We have not done 30 minutes yet. So we're gonna see if we can get it down to 30 minutes. So
we'll have a couple of these long shows. I can tell you that right now.
Once we get to talking, we just go from one. It's like our phone conversations, just one thing to the next.
One thing after another, but it's all good stuff. You know what I'm saying? We drop some bars in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we'll see y'all next time. Thank y'all for watching again, and remember, share with your friends, follow, subscribe, ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer.
And send in stories. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, or if you want us to weigh in on your situation,
facts.
We'll take it.
You have two very strong life coaches right here.
Yes.
One of which is licensed as a license. I'll let you speak on it.
Oh, I'm a psychologist, but okay.
So y'all know that what I'm saying is being backed up by somebody with a license, so y'all can get off me. I'm just saying, all right?
Yeah, but everything I say ain't psychology related. Sometimes it's just related to me.
Oh yeah, facts. But we know it comes from a place of like some type of logical basis, because you.
Yeah,
sometimes she worse than I am. I ain't gonna lie.
She is. All right, we gotta go.
Logical. All right, my bad. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all joining us. Thank you so much.
All right,
bye.
Thank you again for watching People, Perspective, and the Pulse. Reminding you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend, and let's do it again. Thank you again. Bye.